Hi guys, my name is Stavros. I'm the author of the Tome 6, Book 1 of the Fateful Force, and today we have another Warbow video. In this video, we'll be testing my 100-pound H1 heavy draw by 100lb Warbow, as well as my 87-pound Warbow by Black Arrow Longbows on this shield. If you haven't seen my previous videos, go check them out, where we put the two bows through a chronograph to see how much energy they do produce with various different arrows. The 87-pound Warbow produces somewhere between 60 and 70 joules of energy depending on the weight of the arrows, and the 100-pound Warbow produces somewhere between roughly 80 and 90 joules of energy, again depending on the weight of those arrows. This shield is made of poplar. It's 10 mils thick. It is a little bit on the thinner side. Todd from Todd's workshop has done tests with his shield. He also has a poplar shield. It's about 15 millimeters thick, so this is a bit thinner. However, the bows that I do use are of a lighter draw weight than his lockdown longbow Warbow simulator, which simulates about a 160-pound bow. In this test, we'll be using a number of replica arrows, historically accurate arrows, like in my previous test. We'll be using Cressy war bodkins, type 7 needle bodkins, type 16 by Will Sherman, as well as by Hector. The purpose of this test is to add more data points to the conversation. So it's important that we just keep doing these tests, add data for us to look at. The more people that add data to the conversation, the better understanding we have of how these weapons of the past do interact with armor of the past. And now let's go head down to the range and see how we go with these arrows and this shield. Okay, we're at the range. First arrow is going to be a Cressy warhead. Unfortunately, I broke both my 900 grain Cressys doing chrono tests, so I've had to repurpose the heads and put them onto a slightly thinner shaft. This is a 792 grain Cressy war bodkin, and we're going to start with the 100-pound bow. That's actually stuck in. Let's do a heavy type 7 from Hector. This one is 920 grains. All right, let's go with another type 7. This one is a Will Sherman one though, and this one is 759 grains. Okay, so we have another Will Sherman needle section type 7, 796 grain. Now we have a Will Sherman type 7 square section needle bodkin. So this one is 800 grain. These are going to be, I don't know if we're going to be able to get these out, but it's for science. All right, so now we have Will Sherman type 16 barbed broadheads. This one is 748 grains. Type 16, Will Sherman, barbed broadhead, 769 grains. That is in as well. Okay, so last arrow for the 100-pound bow, 930 grains, my heaviest arrow, type 14 broadhead. The broadhead actually got stuck into that, but broke off the shaft, but I think the broadhead is in the shield. So let's go get the shield, take it off the target, bring it out here, we'll flip it, we'll see how much penetration we're getting with some of these arrows, we'll measure them, and then we'll come back and try the 87-pound bow as well. Okay, so here's the shield, and we can see some of these arrows have definitely penetrated quite far, and the ones that have penetrated far, probably not surprisingly, the ones that are catching it on the edges, so they're splitting the shield close to the edges. There's more give there, and so for those ones we're looking at 15.5 millimeters, and this one 12 millimeters for the, sorry, I should say the Cressy, 15.5 millimeters. The needle section type 7, which is the Will Sherman one, again on the edge, about 12 millimeters. We have a Hector, sorry, another Will Sherman one here. This one's actually getting close here. It's actually curled the arrowhead, and this one is about, if it wasn't curled, it probably about 7.5, but because it's curled, it's 70 mils, I should say. Should be 75 if it wasn't curled. We have another, this is the Hector one. It's gone through a bit of extra padding as well here in the center, so that's probably slowed it down a little bit. And that one's just under 80 mils. We have a type 16 here that's just poking out. There's not much there. If I press down the padding to compress it, so we know what it goes through the actual shield itself, we're looking at about 35 millimeters, and the other one about 45 millimeters. So let's move on to the 87-pound bow. We'll try and get all these arrows out. We'll move to the 87-pound bow and see what kind of results we get with that bow bearing. And we have got first arrow, 792 grain Cressy. It's definitely stuck in. 796 grain, type 7 needle bodkin. Let's go with the Will Sherman type 7 square section needle, 800 grains. $920 grain, heaviest arrow we have left. Diamond section needle by Hector. And that is stuck in as well. I'm not going to bother with the type 16. They are just impossible to get out, and I've broken one as well in the shield. So let's grab that shield, let's measure these arrows, see if there is a difference between this and the 100-pound bow. They're definitely stuck in. Let's just see how far they stuck in. Okay, so here's the results. The 87-pound bow were more center of target than the some of the 100-pound bows, but what we are seeing is a comparable penetration. Type 7 needles, Will Sherman, we're looking at 60 mils. We're looking at the needle is 60 mils. The Will Sherman heavier one, sorry, the Hector heavier diamond section needle is 70, almost 75 mils. The that's actually the old, which as you can see right here is the old, I wasn't able to get it out, the type 16. It's gone less with a 100-pound bow than obviously the needles in the Cressy. And then we have the Cressy, and the Cressy is about 64 mils past the shield. And we obviously have here the 100-pound bow, the type 14 that got stuck in. I can't get that out. The actual arrow broke. We saw that on the camera. So what we are seeing here, at least against this shield, poplar 10 millimeters. Again, I can't speak to the exact quality of the shield. I got it from Kult of Athena. But we're seeing the 87-pound bow and the 100-pound bow penetrating. What we're going to do now is we've got a surprise guest today. We're here at the Moorabbin Archery Club in Melbourne, Australia, and we have another member here and friend of mine, Oscar, and he is an Asiatic archer. He's got, actually I'll get him to explain what his bow is, and he's going to have a go at the shield as well. Generally speaking, composite recurves, Asiatic style composite recurves are faster for the same draw weight to English bows. The caveat, of course, is my 100-pound H1 heavy draw. That seems to be performing on par with a decent quality self bow. And just to clarify, my 100-pound bow is producing very, very similar amounts of energies to Jack Fang from the Historical Archery channel. His H1, which he has also tested, they're producing pretty much comparable energy. So Oscar, do you want to come down and tell us actually what poundage your bow is and what you're using?
Sure thing. This is a fiberglass bow from Alibo. They call it the Qinhai, and it's a close replica of a sort of a late Qing dynasty, so we're talking mid 1700s. This one comes in at about 80 pounds at my just past 31-inch draw length. Almost 80 pounds on the dot, might be 81. And then this
but it's a Warbow. It's an 80-pound Warbow at your draw length.
And of course,
I would suspect it's going to be quicker than my 87-pound bow. I think it should. Again, depending on the arrowhead, we do have a different arrowhead, which you'll explain to the camera as well. But the arrowheads do matter. But I suspect your bow will be faster than my 87-pound bow, and actually might even be close to the H1 heavy draw in terms of energy as well.
Yeah, quite likely. I think, first of all, drawing to 31 inches over 27, 28 inches is what puts a whole lot more energy in it.
Yes, of course.
And having an arrow as heavy as this comes in at about 1,225 grains. is going to really allow a lot of that energy to be captured.
Yep.
This is a Manchu arrow from Samad Archery, and then on the head I've made out of mild steel. I might get closer to get a good look at that. That is my closest thing I do to a replica of a tanged arrowhead from the Qing dynasty, sometimes known as the spearhead arrowhead.
That is in.
All right.
All right, that was really good. Okay, so Oscar, do you want to come closer?
Yeah.
So we have his arrow here. Again, it's quite comparable with it. It's a little bit deeper, but it's quite comparable again as a population sample of 1. Same, I'd say it's a bit better than the 87-pound bow.
I think I'm impressed, particularly for the width of the head compared to.
I agree. Because the Type 14, which is also a wide head, didn't really go through. Broke the arrow hitting it, but it didn't go through as far as this. Although the Type 14 is a broader head again than that one. But that's good to know. So we're looking at roughly 85 mils, roughly. Thank you very much for coming by, Oscar.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this this test. I do mention at the start of my videos that I am an author. I'm an epic fantasy author. The Toma 6 is book 1 of the Fateful Force series, and Broken Promises is my second book, which I have also published. These tests can be expensive. I'm breaking arrows, destroying materials. If you do love fantasy, it is your kind of thing, and you do want to support me and my channel, and you want me to keep producing this type of content, please give an independent author a go. I don't have myself to market, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.